something that says you agree to the recording. These are great to record so we can send them out to anybody who couldn't make it to the meeting. We all know how busy the OR is, and this is really difficult for people to attend. So we like to send out the recording and all the information, and then really open it up for any kind of comments or questions. We really value any kind of feedback. So to those of you who are not able to attend, please feel free to reach out to any of us program chairs. With that, I'll introduce ourselves. My name's Anna Campbell. I am the Surgical Technology Program Chair. I'm also OR-PCT Shared Program Chair. I'll let Ramsey and Jenny introduce themselves as well.
Oh, Jenny Serpa here. I also chair with Anna for the OR-PCT program, as well as our CSPD programmer, Central Sterile Processing.
And I'm Ramsey Wilson, and I'm the program chair for the Surgical First Assistant program.
Thank you. All right, so we'll dive right in here. Today we are going to cover all of the perioperative programs. We have OR-PCT, CSPD, Surg Tech, and CSFA. We will send you the link to this website, which includes meeting minutes from November, from our November meeting, and then all the links and recording and everything else that you'll need to know for the advisory committee meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and start first with the OR-PCT, or Operating Room Patient Care Technician program. This program, this is actually the last time I will be hosting the advisory committee for OR-PCT. This revision was approved. I know I've been speaking of that for a while now, but it was approved, and it was approved by the state. It will start in fall of 2023 this year. And that PCT program, because it is part of the nursing pathway, nursing will be taking care of that program. We will help them get off the ground with that, just because, you know, we've done a lot of legwork on the front end of this, and really spoke with a lot of clinical sites that said how important this certificate is. So Jenny and I will stay involved and to make sure that it gets off the ground, and if they need any help at all of any kind. This patient care technician program is a 1-semester program. It begins with a CNA certificate. So that course is actually can be taken at the high schools. It's taught at TCD and Wilco. They have to be CNA certified. They have to take that course, and then they take a PCT course, which brings them into the hospitals for a clinical rotation 2 days a week for 6 weeks. And then they also take an ethical considerations course that we'll talk about a little bit when I'm speaking about Surg Tech as well. What this does, this gives, so those PCT students end up in the hospital with their CNA license, and then they're also learning phlebotomy and EKG, and they will sit for the CPCT exam at the end of that class. So it's just an excellent pathway, excellent credential, stackable credential on the way to nursing. If we have any questions about PCT, I'd love to take them now. We are looking for clinical sites right now. That's where we're at in the process, is I'm working on some marketing and looking for clinical placement. They do not need a one-to-one instructor with them, just basically need guidance and oversight from a nurse, a staff nurse on the floor, and then we will offer clinical instruction as well. So any questions on OR-PCT? I know that was brief. So this is now officially PCT, and I will talk a bit about that OR-PCT option when I discuss Surg Tech in a little bit here. So any questions before I move on? Good to go. Okay. Jen, you ready for CSPD?
I sure am.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. And Anna, do you want me to control the screen, or are you able to do that on your end?
I can. Are you able to do it on your end? If you are.
I am not actually.
No, I'll get it for you. I'll
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you everyone for joining. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here. Again, my name is Jenny Serpa. I am the program chair for the Central Sterile Processing and Distribution Program. Just a couple of things I wanted to chat a little bit about today is that our ICAPS, I had mentioned ICAPS, that's our Integrated Career Academic Preparation System. We started with ICAPS as their first cohort last fall. ICAPS, for those of you that maybe need just kind of a little bit of introduction, it is a free program that the college does offer. It's federally funded. It is essentially ESL students that will enroll, and it helps just, they have, the component of the program, and then they also have instructor that helps with, any kind of necessity to help with that language barrier. Really amazing cohort we had this fall. They're almost about to take their exam in May. Really excited for them. Sad to see them go. They've been working really hard. So this will be really cool to say we've got, one full cohort that completed. But with that cohort graduating, we will have a new cohort starting in the fall of 2023. Currently, ICAPS is sending 10 students to us. Starting with 10, maybe eventually to grow that, we'll see, but really awesome. So they're still rocking and doing great. The next point I was going to touch base was our dual credit. So for dual credit, again, this is just allowing high school students to begin their education, to kind of start with those pathways before they get to our college. So we had mentioned at the last meeting that Wilco was going to be getting started, and they did. They actually launched the first course for the spring semester. So they just communicated with the instructor, doing awesome. And we just began communication with TCD, the Technology Center of DuPage. So they will also be bringing CSPD 1111 to TCD. They have 3 instructors interested in taking the course this summer, with the hopes of teaching this coming fall. So they have an estimated 180 students that they're going to offer this course to. So really, really awesome opportunity for the students and really cool growth just for the program in general. So really excited about the dual credit partnerships. Program goals, so revisions. We had started the new curriculum last fall. And I just wanted to give everybody kind of a quick reminder of those. That's just those 12 credit hours for the full certificate, can be completed in 1 semester. Really awesome opportunity for anyone that wants that certificate, and like quicker to get that into the hospital. It's the 3 credits for CSPD 1111, can be net. We also are offering it in person. We did see a little bit of a demand for that. So happy to offer that in person. And that also, for those of you that work with SPD, that's a great opportunity for your techs to get in and complete that course. And then they have, with the C or better, they can sit for the certification. So really cool opportunity there. Then our CSPD 1211, which is the clinical component, a Surge Tech 1000 is the ethical class, and then med term. So with all 4 courses, they can complete their certificate. Really nice and simple. And then lab improvements. So I did actually post a couple of the real-time pictures of our brand new labs. Super awesome and really excited. The first picture you see there is just like we had talked about. We added the new door. We kind of just rearranged some things, and now it's its own separate dedicated space. So it's really cool. It allows us to have, a little classroom section. The 2 photos, a little bit, we'll pop to a little bit, is the new decontamination sink we had added. And then we also just kind of arranged the lab to best replicate the sterile processing department, to get those students going through the actual, that workflow that they would see in the hospitals. So it's working awesome. Lab has been great, a great feedback from sites and students. So super happy and excited to be working with all of our new stuff. And just adding this extra classroom just has allowed us to kind of add more sections of lab for all of the programs, really. So it's been an awesome, awesome addition for CSPD. And Anna, I think that is the last of my bit.
Any questions for anybody? I'd love to comment on the ICAPS, on how wonderful that's been. Very cool thing to see and be a part of. I know Jenny has been working really hard with that for student success and completion with that ICAPS program. And it's kind of a beautiful little program. So I was curious also, Jen, if we could kind of put a question out there to our hospital and surgery center stakeholders, if they have opinions on if they would hire a high school sterile processing tech. Do they need to be 18? Do we think, I know PCT, they have kind of lowered that to, some of the hospitals have lowered to age 16
right.
Because they're teaching the dual credit. And we're getting that question a lot, I feel like, so thought we could throw that out there if anybody had any input on that. And if we don't have anyone right now, that's okay. We can just on the recording, if anybody could answer us with that one, that would be wonderful.
Hey, Jen,
yes. Yeah,
I think I am sending a post-PAC meeting survey through Google surveys, and I could add that and we can send it to all the members so we can see and get kind of those answers that we need.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Rance.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that, because I'll be asking a couple questions as well. I'll throw them out there. And you think you're all set? Should I move forward?
Yes, thank you, everybody.
And if anyone, while I'm talking about Surge Tech or as we move on, has a question about the prior programs, please feel free to jump in. This is a very, want you all to feel comfortable asking any questions. Okay, so we'll move on to surgical technology. This is our AAS degree. Now, this is all that we offer now is the AAS degree per accreditation. We do start our new curriculum in fall of 2023 this year. The new required courses in that curriculum are the full series of anatomy, Anatomy 1 and Anatomy 2. We also are requiring medical terminology. And then a new course was created, Surg Tech 1001. This is a surgical asepsis and sterile technique course. I'm a big fan of this course. And as I talk here, I'm going to cover some areas of concern that have been brought to our attention. Some things with sterile technique and understanding from the clinical sites. And, you know, I really want to start this by saying our goal in this program is to create sterile technique experts. We want our students, our graduates, to be the expert in the room when it comes to contamination. So we're working really hard to improve this. And I'm going to talk a little bit about lab assessments, some changes with that. And then the introduction of this course was really to impress on those skills and get that started right away. What is a contamination? How crucial is it? How dangerous is it? And how do we avoid it? We are starting 2 cool cohorts for the first time. So at this time where we're really enrollment is a tough thing right now and across the board nationally. But we're doing pretty good here. We still have a lot of interest in our perioperative programs. And that comes from, you know, CSPD with Jenny is pipelining students into Surg Tech and then into CSFA. We have 2 cohorts. We're going to have 20 maximum in each cohort. This almost doubles our annual graduate rate. So we know that there is a massive shortage of Surg Techs right now, and we're really trying to help out with that. We are focused on enrollment. We're focused on retention, keeping our students into the finish line and that completion. Making sure that they finish. Dual credit, we are now teaching Surg Tech 1000, Ethical Considerations in the Healthcare Industry. This is being taught at Wilco to, I believe, 48 students. TCD, Jenny and I are right now working on a partnership with TCD. They are, I believe they're starting in fall of 2023. They will teach CSPD 1111, which is that theory course, and then Surg Tech 1000. This Surg Tech 1000 course is driven by the hospitals and what they have been telling us, what they need, basically. It includes a lot of professionalism issues, such as conflict resolution, communication, teamwork. We talk about death and dying and how to cope with stress and be resilient in healthcare. So we bring a lot of soft skills into that course. This is a great course. Students leave with a digital portfolio that really has them look inside on why they chose healthcare and why they wanted to do it and how do they stay in healthcare at a time when we really need people. So this course is taught these will be taught at TCD and Wilco, and I plan to reach out to more high schools. We were approved for this course it meets the requirements for humanities. So for that category for an AAS degree, this course will meet that requirement. So that means for nursing, for any AAS respiratory care. So it really can, so that dual credit can fit into a lot of degrees. So very cool. And really, we really believe in this course. I think it's really important for anyone who works in healthcare. Things I want to ask, and maybe I can add this to the survey. I have been kicking around the idea of an endoscopy technician and a labor and delivery technician. How long have I been talking about this, Jenny? Ladies, for years?
Years.
Yes, years, sorry. I would love feedback on this. I know Edward Hospital years ago mentioned the GI tech, that they really need help in that area. I've spoken to a couple other institutions that have said that they are in need as well. And then this is also for labor and delivery. I believe that we could create either a continuing education certificate, but that would be part of the courses, of the Surg Tech courses. So kind of would be another credential that students could get on their way to becoming Surg Techs, or they could go to be a labor and delivery technician. So I would love feedback on that. I realize if we don't have people here right now for that. But if anyone could, if that's something that sounds interesting, or if you'd like to set up a time to chat about that, I'd love to get some feedback on what types of courses would be interesting for that. Operating room assistant. So operating room patient care technician. I know that we had Good Sam and I believe CDH and Good Shepherd that were still interested. They were concerned about OR-PCT going away. We have talked about creating a continuing education certificate with that Surg Tech 1001 course. So that course that's surgical asepsis and sterile technique. It's like an intro to the OR. And then combine that with the ethical considerations, and then that would be a perfect combination for people who want to function in that role of transportation, assisting with prep, holding a limb for a prep, kind of running and helping clean up in turnover rooms. So that's something that we're also considering. So I would love feedback on that one as well. I'm going to keep moving and then if you have feedback on that, please, and I can't see hands raised, or I can only see a few people. So just yell, just turn your mic on and yell. Resources, lab improvements. We had a really nice summer last year, and so grateful for how much we were approved to improve here. We were able to get 4 monitors, actually. We had in each OR, we have 2 monitors with internet hookups in each lab. This allows for mock procedures. So students will be scrubbed into that procedure and able to watch a full appendectomy while they're passing instruments in real time. So it really improved the mock, the mock setting. We have a new marketing campaign. We are combining all 3 perioperative pathway programs, which is awesome. We've really been working, the 3 of us together, going out to high schools. We have done a remarkable amount of open houses and career fairs, and there's a lot out there. And so we are really trying, the three of us are really trying to get kids to know that this is a thing. Every kid, you ask them what they want to do, they say surgeon. So we're just allowing them to, which is awesome, and that's great, but here's a few other jobs out there as well. So we are attempting to reach more males also. That we have, we've consistently been low. This kind of matches healthcare, but we really would like to improve this number. So we created a flyer. Umar, you see here on the flyer, has completed all 3 programs through COD. And so we're trying to reach out to show how great of a job this is. Student and graduate evaluation and assessment. So things that we are trying to improve. I mentioned some of the concerns from the clinical sites. So with our lab assessments, our Surg Tech lab is that first 8 weeks of the program. And they also do the 8 weeks of the Surg Tech 1001 as well, but that's new. So it's going to take us a little bit of time for those students to reach the program. We're focusing on contamination awareness and how to correct. That has always been a major focus, but we are really trying to, we're having these students work with AST guidelines to the T. We're working on sequential training. We want somebody to scrub in and go all the way to the end of a procedure. So we're trying to incorporate that more and testing them on that whole entire sequence. We feel like it's offering more practice to the students, and the hope is that they will get the flow of that consistent training. And then those students must pass evaluations. We are critically evaluating our students. We realize it's a very different environment from the lab to the actual OR. So our hope is that we will catch problems and issues within lab before it comes to the hospital and the surgery center doorstep. But that said, if we are seeing things in the clinical site, we want weekly preceptor evaluations. If students do not hand that in, it is a professional deficiency. So we're very serious about the preceptor evaluations. Our clinical instructors should be on site every 2 to 3 weeks during a clinical rotation. They will observe the student and then evaluate and have a conversation. They will also reach out to the staff to see if there's anything that they did not see. The students must pass their evaluations in order to pass clinical. So if a student is causing any kind of patient safety issue, we really want everybody to know that that's our #1 concern, is making sure patients are safe, and that to please let us know if there is somebody that you feel is not functioning in a safe manner. We offer this Google survey for clinical sites. The link is here, so when I share that with you, you'll have that link. This is a direct eval to our clinical instructors and to program chairs. So this way, if a preceptor who is not used to precepting struggles to be honest or give that kind of criticism to a student, they can send it directly to us, and all of that information is documented and shared with the student. Everything is shared with the student on how to improve. Outcomes. Okay. This is always my struggling area still. 2022 pass rate, we had a 57% pass rate on the first attempt. This is improved, but this still is below accreditation standards. I had hoped that our board vitals would solve everything. And yes, it helped a bit, but we are still struggling to pass that exam. What I have found out, because this has been my thorn. I take it personally and am desperately trying to figure out how to fix this problem. This is a national problem. I just joined a Facebook conversation about this with about 50 instructors across the nation. The test was changed about 3 years ago, and there seems to be a difficulty in passing this exam now. So this was a program that had excellent pass rates. So this is a new problem. So along with the national problem of the test needing to be, there needs to be discussion about the actual test, which I'm involved on that level. I also collected data from the past 4 years to see what's going on. Anatomy and medical terminology was removed. Students did not have to take that as of 2019, 2020. This almost directly correlates to our poor test scores. The test now is anatomy heavy. And we have students that, took a environmental biology course and were able to come to Surg Tech. So that has been corrected. That is in the curriculum revisions. It's just unfortunately that can't be done overnight. So this process of waiting for that to kick in, what we're doing is we have asked for Perkins funds to purchase anatomy textbooks, surgical technology specific anatomy textbooks for every student this year. This year will be our last class that does not have the anatomy background or medical terminology. So we are incorporating that. Our instructor has made a beautiful anatomy project that will last the entire year. So anatomy is a big focus in the classroom. And then we are also requesting for board vitals again. After a survey from last year's students, they do feel like it helped a lot. So if you could just bear with us, I'm confident that we will get these numbers up. It is, we're doing everything we can. And I believe that I want to get, this is below accreditation standard. And honestly, this is well below COD standard. So this is our main focus right now, is to improve this. So I thank you for your patience for that. I know hospitals are still employing our students, even though they don't pass on that first attempt. And I really appreciate your patience, and know that we are working with those students to assure that they're going to pass on that second time. I'm sorry, and I see I didn't put in, I have N%. I was just going through numbers today. We're actually at about 81% graduate placement from 2022. So that is meeting accreditation standards. So we're doing pretty good with that. And our 2023 retention, we have 23 students that entered our cohort this spring, and we still have 23. Yay! Yes, we're early, but it is still positive. That's 4 weeks of clinicals that we haven't lost anybody. I held our first support group this Monday. A lot of people showed. I think I had 8 people show to that week 1 support group. And it is most definitely needed. Students are able to, and this is not students coming and complaining about clinicals. This is students struggling with a great deal of personal issues and then trying to tackle the monster of education and healthcare education. So we offer a lot of tips and tools and support to get them through to the finish line. Oh, I always talk longer than everybody. Sorry. Any questions or concerns about any of it? Hopefully I addressed, I know we've had some concerns recently, and hopefully this addresses those issues. And oh, Jared, yes, please go ahead.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
No.
85 things going on. So Anna, well, first of all, good morning to the advisory committee and the board. Thank you all for all the work that you do. I don't know if I was gonna get another chance to talk, so I just want to put that out there at the beginning. But yeah, what I wanted to say, and this is news to the faculty as well, is so we have the PATH grant. Many of you may not know, the state provides some funding last year on a grant to support some of the healthcare programs. And we, because it was such a short turnaround, only selected the high priority programs, and that's not a slight on CSPD, but some of the programs are listed as programs that could potentially be covered. So as we are, if the state budget passes I think it's the first week in May. We will look at potentially covering, using some of our resources to assist CSPD and SFA. And Anna, what that includes, as you may already know, is the success coaches that we have. So when we talk about the pass rates, we can work with if we keep Kelly and Joyce, then they will work with them. We've already seen some anecdotal, not even anecdotal, some actually real improvement in scores from the nursing and respiratory, because those are the programs that they have now. So for our board members, I just wanted to say we will be able to use that resource. We'll have the student success coaches, if we do include CSPD, work with our success coaches to find out ways that we can support those students to get those pass rates up. So that is something that we'll look that we can, that's a way that my office, with the funding from the state, of course, can support our students to get those pass rates up.
That's wonderful, Dr. Dean. And, you know, this college could not be more supportive. Dr. Dean could not be more supportive of our programs. I think he can see the need in the community and how passionate we are about getting professional, qualified, skilled people out there. So this is, we will take any help we can get. And I thank you so much. I don't know if my heart can handle another bad pass rate.
Yeah. I
think just curl up or run away. So I won't. I'm kidding. I won't run away.
Oh, no, but you can't go anywhere. I'm not letting you know. You can't go anywhere.
Never. No, but I appreciate it. I'm confident that we'll get there, and especially with all the support. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. If there are no further questions for me, I would love to shoot it over to Ramsey. If you come up with anything different, please, again, just chime in. Ramsey, here you go, and I'll just walk you through, Ramsey, if that's okay.
Yes. Thank you guys for coming. For all of you guys, I believe everyone here knows who I am, but again, my name is Ramsey Wilson, and I'm the program chair for the First Assistant Program. We did go over a lot the last advisory board committee, so this one is going to be a shorter portion for this time around. So a little bit about our CSFA 2023 cohort. The students are going to be expected to take the CSFA exam August 1st, 2023. 11 students applied. I have submitted the applications. I am still waiting to hear if the August 1st date has been approved. All 11 students will be taking it on campus, and we are going to have Corey Granger, who is one of our new adjunct, as our test proctor for this cohort. I've already purchased the Stats Pearls, which is very similar to Board Vitals. We did do both last year, and the students all agreed that Stats Pearls was just a little bit more better for preparing. It has a lot of anatomy involved, and what Stats Pearls does is for every question that you have, they have some sort of resource link affiliated for each individual question. So it does state, like, you know, why a question is right in comparison to why the others don't apply to an answer. And for those students that just need that additional explanation or in-depth research, it does have those resources attached to it. So we're continuing that on for this cohort. In place of a final exam, we are going to be doing a capstone. So I've created a new capstone, which will have the students take all their learning materials and skills from both lab and didactic from the past 2 semesters. And they're essentially going to be creating a mini, I don't want to say a study guide, but it is going to be something similar to a study guide. And hopefully this capstone will also aid in their preparation for that certification exam. In the past few weeks, I have been conducting final clinical evaluations, and I do plan on changing these evaluations. So when I am sending that post-PAC meeting survey through the Google, I don't know why I said Google, Google surveys, I will also be sending some documentation for the PAC committee to review as well. Post-semester surveys, again, for the students for this semester, as well as course surveys that are conducted through COD will be also given to students, preceptors, employers, and of course, you guys. So purchases, lab supplies, I have purchased. If you guys look at the old minutes, I do have a list of the lab supplies that we have purchased last cohort, and we will continue on. The only difference is we will not be purchasing the pig cadaver. And the other change is that we are purchasing a new SimVivo dissection kit, which allows for them or for the students to simulate dissecting, whether it's invasive, whether it's blunt dissection. We'll also be able to utilize that for local administration and suturing as well. One of the things that is pending it has been approved by our division, by Dr. Dean. However, we are still waiting for the financial department to see if there are funds to support purchasing Incision Academy. We were introduced to Incision Academy from our last conference that Jenny, Anna, and Anna Marzullo, we all attended in Savannah, Georgia. What this Incision Academy will replace is essentially the textbooks that we have been using. For those of you guys that do not know, the textbooks that we are using, there are no specific textbooks that are specifically for surgical first assistant. And what Incision Academy is, it is a web page software where students will have access to essentially what they call an academy that has videos that are both interactive videos as well as videos that you can monitor. It has all textbook type resources and journals to support individual practices as well as surgical services. They also have surgeons who will directly lecture specifically for those individual cases as well as skills. And I did network and talk to a few program chairs from other colleges, and they all said that after purchasing, that they all had a 100% pass rate as well as satisfaction rate for postgraduate surveys. So if this is not approved, I am planning on the students purchasing it directly, at least for the first year or two, until I can get this inputted into the course fees. But obviously at this moment, it's too late for me to conduct that. Also, we were approved for the laparoscopic simulation monitors for next year. But however, due to some funding, we'll have to wait till 2024-25 to purchase those. And I do plan on purchasing 2 of them that we can use for surgical tech. And if nursing or other departments would like to use it to simulate minimally invasive surgical procedures, such as robotics and laparoscopic cases, specifically for abdominal procedures, we'll be able to utilize that as well. So hopefully that will be approved for that 24-25 cohort. Some program goals. So what our program really struggles with is basically like registration and admissions, having the people come into our program. So one of my main goals for this past academic year is really that marketing. Participation in health career fairs or in-services workshops. We recently went or will attend TCD. Tomorrow I'm going to Churchill Elementary. I am visiting 177 elementary students, K through 5th grade. This is specifically to encourage girls to get into STEM, including health professions. So I will be doing a 45-minute presentation tomorrow after school at Churchill Elementary. I visited Addison Trails High School, and I know that Anna just did Willowbrook High School, where the high schools in DuPage County now have to follow a pathway for their high school students. So they're really encouraging programs like ours to come in and to speak on our profession and really get them engaged and excited to seeing that there's different options within the hospital other than, you know, nursing. No offense to nursing, but, you know, that's really getting us out there. COD affiliated open houses. Next Tuesday, I am going to Elgin Community College to speak to the surgical technologist graduates for this May, possibly going into surgical first assistant. I've already talked to Harper Community College as well. And I am also teaming up with nursing. And just recently, I've talked to Jane Moya or Jane Casper, I'm sorry, about talking to her current surge tech class that she's currently lecturing on Mondays about coming into our program. We recently filmed a commercial with the perioperative program starring Anna Campbell, which we just did last Friday. This will be available on our COD marketing website, and we plan on doing it on all perioperative web pages as well. Our goal for at least the CSFA program, as well as perioperative, is just creating more of a networking for hospital in-services, high school career fairs, and employer events, because like I said, you know, our challenge for the CSFA program is being known that, hey, we have an accredited program. We are the only program in Illinois. We are 1 out of 13 within the nation. And it gives nurses that are perioperative nurses, for medical surgeons, as well as certified surgical techs to advance and achieve that advanced certificate. Annual report and continuing education. So our annual report has been delayed due to the accrediting body. They did have some technical issues within that. I know Anna, you know, also is dealing with this as well. We did do an attendance of the AST Leadership Conference and Educators Conference in Savannah last month. Like I said, it was Anna, Jenny, and Anna Marzullo. And Anna Campbell, again, was starring within the Educators Conference, talking about resilience within surgical technologists as well as, you know, CSFAs. I will be attending the AST conference, which is in Chicago. It is next month as well. And then I am currently in the revision process of the COD program review. So this outcomes reporting, the only reason why I continue to put this on, because I did there are a few changes to this outcomes reporting. So the major change was for the certification exam. When it was last reported, 13 out of the 14 have participated in taking the exam. 14 out of 14 have now taken it. Fortunately, we do have a 100% pass rate for our CSFA exam. Graduate placement is it does include in-field, whether it is CSFA or dual role as CST/CSFA. This also goes within students that plan or graduates that plan on going into continuing education. So all 14 are within that realm for graduate placement. Employer surveys were sent last August, and I have a 12 out of 14 return rate with a 12 out of 12 satisfaction rate, and everything else has remained the same. So we are in the process of obtaining clinical contracts for Insight Hospital, which is the old Mercy Hospital in Chicago, as well as UFC Hospital, which is also in Chicago as well. As we are, as I start to fill the program, we are already in talks of adding 3 to 4 more clinical sites within our list. So I will go over that for our next CAC meeting in October. Does anyone have any questions?
I have one.
Sure.
Sorry. Nice job on the pass rate too. I think that's pretty cool. 100% is amazing. So good job on that one. And then my question is on your Stat Pearls. Do they have a Surge Tech platform for Stat Pearls? Do you think it would be heavier with anatomy than the board vitals?
Yes. So with the Stats Pearls, it was originally for surgical technology. And Jenny, they also do have a sterile processing portion as well. And with surgical first assistant, because that's the last, part.
Sure.
Pyramid. We see all three within the one that I purchased for Stats Pearls. So for Surge Tech, if you are able to create daily quizzes and exams, which is what I did for last year, they had to do a daily quiz, which was 10 questions a day. All I asked for them to do was 10 questions a day. And then at the end of each module, they would have one essentially final for that week. Okay. That was those 10 questions a day with a little bit extra. And as the instructor and having instructor access, you can specifically make it just anatomy. They have these check boxes within the instructor access. So you're able to say, hey, I want this week to focus on GU, ENT, and general. And then they have those sub question categories, and you want to focus on anatomy, instrumentation, steps, whatever it may be. And then from there, students and yourself are able to see what the percentage of specific questions they're getting wrong. And every week, at the end of the week, I would meet with them and that we would go over those questions. And then I would have an additional quiz, like a Quizlet or a Kahoot, that I would go over with them for it usually took me like I'm not gonna lie, it would be 2 to 3 hours. It would be with them. But last year we did Zoom. This year I'm going to give them the opportunity to either do Zoom or in person, because that was just based on my graduate surveys that some of them did want to be in person. Okay. And then we would just go over that. But any help that you need, or if you want to go over Stats Pearls, I can show you how the instructor access is.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe me and Jane will take a look at it to see if it's something we could add, especially if we can get a little bit more funding for it. Maybe it would be another good addition.
Sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I did purchase both last year, and just specifically for, I will say, anatomy, students appreciated Stats Pearls a little bit more.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions for Ramsey? Or for any of us, for that matter? Maybe we'll open it up if there's any concerns. I can stop sharing this guy. Yeah, anything you'd like to add, anyone? Okay. Well, again, please feel free, if you think of something, later on today that you wish you would have asked us or chimed in about, please feel free to reach out to Jenny, Ramsey, or myself at any time, or set up a time to call. We design our programs based on feedback from the hospitals and the surgery centers. So thank you so much for joining us today. Can't thank you enough. And we will see you again in November, and then keep your eye open for the email with the video and all the follow-up. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye-bye, you too.